I need to tell you about the phone calls. I'm David Chen, a nurse at Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan. 29 years old, been in emergency medicine for 6 years. I've worked trauma, I've worked codes, I've seen things that would make most people quit medicine entirely. But nothing prepared me for the calls. It started 3 months ago. October 15th, 2024. I remember the date because it was the first time in my career I genuinely considered walking out mid-shift and never coming back. I was working nights 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Manhattan air on a Friday night is chaos. Stabbings from the Bronx, overdoses from the Village, heart attacks from Wall Street executives who work too hard and eat too much. You get numb to it after a while. You have to. Around 3:30 a.m., things finally slowed down. We just finished working a multi-vehicle accident, 3 critical, 2 moderate, 1 DOA. I was in the break room, trying to choke down hospital coffee and pretend my hands weren't still shaking from the last code. That's when my phone rang, not my personal phone. The hospital phone. The landline at the nurses' station that almost nobody uses anymore because everyone has cell phones and pagers. I picked it up. Mount Sinai, this is David. Silence. But not empty silence. Someone was there. I could hear breathing, slow, steady. Hello? I said again. Do you need help? Then a voice. Male, older, calm in a way that made my skin crawl. Bed 7, 17 minutes. Pulmonary embolism. You won't see it coming. The line went dead. I stood there holding the phone like an idiot, trying to process what I just heard. Was that a prank? Some med student messing with the night shift? But something in that voice. The certainty, the coldness. I walked out to the main R floor and checked the board. Bed 7. Robert Morrison, 52 years old. Admitted 2 hours ago with chest pain, EKG normal, troponin normal. We were keeping him for observation, probably sending him home in the morning with a diagnosis of anxiety and a prescription for Xanax. Low risk, stable, nothing to worry about. I checked on him anyway. He was sleeping. Monitor showed normal sinus rhythm, SATs at 96%, blood pressure 128/80 seconds. Textbook normal. I went back to charting, told myself it was nothing. 14 minutes later, the monitor alarm went off. Bed 7. SATs dropping. 96 to 88 to 72 in seconds. I ran. By the time I got there, Robert Morrison was gasping, his lips turning blue, his eyes wide with terror. I can't breathe, he choked out. I can't. Classic Pete presentation, sudden onset, no warning. We coded him right there. Intubated, started heparin, got him to CT, massive saddle pulmonary embolism. The clot was so big it was blocking both pulmonary arteries. He survived, barely. If we'd been even 2 minutes slower, he would have died. 17 minutes. Just like the voice said, I told myself it was coincidence. Maybe I'd subconsciously noticed something about the patient. Maybe my brain put together clues I was unconsciously aware of and manifested it as a hallucination brought on by exhaustion. That's what I told myself. Then the phone rang again the next night, same time, 3:33 a.m. I checked my watch after. I was in the middle of suturing a drunk guy's forehead. He tried to punch through a car window and lost when I heard the phone ringing at the nurse's station. My coworker, Lisa, picked it up. I saw her face change. Saw her look around the AI with confusion, then growing fear. Who is this? She said into the phone. Then, how did you? She hung up and immediately walked over to me, pulling me aside. David, that was so weird. What? Some guy just called and said, and I swear, I'm not making this up. He said, tell David to check bed 14. 9 minutes. Aortic dissection. The room tilted. What? He knew your name. He said to tell you specifically. Then he hung up. Bed 14 was a 67-year-old woman. Patricia Valdez, came in with back pain. We'd done x-rays, given her Toradol. She was resting comfortably, waiting for a spine specialist consult in the morning. Back pain, that's it. Nothing cardiac, nothing emergent. But aortic dissections are sneaky. They can present as back pain, and they're fatal if you miss them. Start a large bore 4, I told Lisa. Get me a CT angio, now. David, she's stable. Her pressure is, now. Lisa looked at me like I'd lost my mind, but she did it. We wheeled Patricia to CT. 7 minutes after the call, while she was in the scanner, she started screaming. Blood pressure dropped from 140/90ths to 60/40ths in seconds. Type A aortic dissection. The tear was extending. Another 2 minutes and it would have ruptured completely. We got her to surgery. She lived. But the voice on the phone had known. 9 minutes before it happened, I tried to trace the call. Hospital IT pulled the records. The number showed as internal extension 444. Room 444 hasn't existed at Mount Sinai for 6 years. It was on the 4th floor, part of the old cardiac unit. That whole wing was demolished in 2018 to make room for a new surgical center. Extension 444 shouldn't even work anymore. But someone was calling from it. Third night, same time. 3:33 a.m. exactly. This time I was waiting for it. Sitting at the nurse's station, staring at the phone. It rang. I picked it up immediately. Who is this? That same calm voice. You're learning to listen. Good. How are you doing this? How do you know? Bed 22. 12 minutes. Septic shock. Blood culture from yesterday grew gram-negative rods. No one's checked the results yet. Wait, how did you? The line went dead. I pulled up the lab results. Bed 22, Timothy Chen, no relation, came in yesterday with what we thought was a simple UTI. We'd started him on standard antibiotics. But his blood cultures from yesterday afternoon had just resulted. Pseudomonas aeruginosa, resistant to the antibiotics we'd given him. He was sitting there, smiling at his wife, looking completely fine. But he had drug-resistant bacteria coursing through his bloodstream, and we'd given him the wrong medication. In 12 minutes, his blood pressure was going to crash. Unless I did something, I changed his antibiotics immediately. Broad spectrum. Heavy duty. I increased his fluids, called for an IQ bed. Lisa thought I was crazy. The attending thought I was overreacting. 8 minutes after the call, Timothy's blood pressure started dropping. But we were ready. We'd already started the right antibiotics. Already had pressors hanging. He never crashed. Because we caught it first. The attending looked at me with this expression I'll never forget. How did you know? I couldn't tell him about the calls. He'd think I was having a psychotic break. Maybe I was. But that's what keeps me up at night. The voice on the phone wasn't predicting the future. He was reading from something. I could hear pages turning in the background. Like he had a book, a list. And 3 nights in a row, he'd called at exactly 3:33 a.m. 3 patients. 3 accurate predictions. 3 lives saved. I should have been grateful. But all I could think was, why is someone calling me from a room that doesn't exist anymore? How does he know these things? And what happened in room 444 6 years ago? Subscribe if you want to know what I found out. Because what I discovered in the hospital archives about room 444 changed everything I thought I knew about life, death, and the thin line between them. Comment below. Would you answer the phone if it kept calling you with impossible information? Or would you ignore it and let people die? Like this video if your heart is racing right now. Because trust me, this is just the beginning. The calls didn't stop. They got worse. And the voice? He started telling me things about myself that no one could possibly know. Things that made me realize whoever is calling isn't trying to help me. He's testing me for something.
The next day, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about extension 444, about the room that didn't exist anymore, about that voice. So calm, so certain, reading from something like he had all the answers written down in front of him. Around 2 p.m., I gave up trying to rest and drove back to the hospital. I wasn't scheduled until that night, but I needed answers. I went to medical records. It's in the basement, naturally. Every hospital has that one department that feels like it exists outside of time-flickering fluorescent lights. Outdated computers, filing cabinets that haven't been touched since the Clinton administration. The woman at the desk, Margaret, looked up from her romance novel. She's been working there for 35 years. If anyone knew about room 444, it would be her. David, you're here early. Hey, Marguerite. Weird question, do we have any records from the old 4th floor? The cardiac unit that got demolished. Her face changed just slightly. A tightness around the eyes. Why are you asking about that? Just curious. Working on a project. She studied me for a long moment. Then she stood up, walked to the back, and returned with a dusty box labeled Quattrotiga Floor Cardiac Unit 2016-2018. You didn't get this from me, she said quietly. I took the box to an empty conference room and started going through files, patient charts, incident reports, staff schedules. Nothing unusual at first. Then I found it A folder marked Room 444, Incident Reports. Inside were 3 documents, all from September 2018, 1 month before the 4th floor was demolished. The first report was from a night shift nurse named Christine Park, September 3rd, 2018. 13:42 patient in room 444, Thomas Brennan, age 71, suffered cardiac arrest at approximately 3:35 a.m. Resuscitation attempted for 47 minutes. Patient pronounced at 4:22 a.m. Unusual note, patient's wife reported that patient woke at 3:30 a.m. and said he's here to collect me. Patient coded 5 minutes later, second report. September 10th, 2018, 3:38 a.m. Different nurse. Patient in room 444, Diana Foster, age 58, respiratory arrest at 3:33 a.m. Patient had been stable all night, sudden decompensation, unable to resuscitate. Time of death for 15 a.m. Note, patient's daughter states patient seemed agitated starting at 3:25 a.m. Kept looking at the corner of the room and asking, "Who's calling me?" Third report. September 17th, 2018, 13:41. Patient in room 444, Raymond Cole, age 63. Massive stroke at 3:34 a.m. Patient was conversational minutes before. Family reports patient answered bedside phone at 3:32 a.m. No incoming calls logged to room. Patient collapsed 2 minutes after phone conversation. Expired 4:08 a.m. 3 patients, 3 deaths. All in room 444. All around 3:33 a.m. All within 3 weeks. But that wasn't the strangest part. At the bottom of the folder was a handwritten note on hospital stationery. The handwriting was shaky, like someone had written it in a hurry. Room 444 is compromised. Recommend immediate closure and investigation. Patients are receiving calls on the room phone that do not appear in system logs. Multiple staff members report hearing one-sided conversations. One patient stated the man on the phone knows when everyone's going to die. 3 deaths in 3 weeks, all preceded by unexplained phone activity. This is beyond coincidence. Dr. Robert Manning, Chief of Cardiology, September 18th, 2018. I pulled out my phone and searched for Dr. Robert Manning. The hospital website had his bio, In Memoriam, Dr. Robert Manning, 1961 to 2018. Dr. Manning passed away unexpectedly in September 2018. Dedication to cardiac care, and his patients will never be forgotten. He died the same month he wrote that report. 1 week after the last room 444 death, I kept digging, found the demolition order. The 4th floor cardiac unit was shut down on September 20th, 2018. 2 days after Dr. Manning died. Demolition completed by November 2080. But here's what made my blood run cold. The demolition order cited structural concerns as a reason, but a handwritten note in the margins from someone in facilities management said, expedited demo authorized by hospital admin. No structural issues found during inspection. They demolished an entire floor, millions of dollars in construction for no architectural reason. They were destroying room 444. That night, I came to work with a plan. At 3:30 a.m., I positioned myself at the nurse's station, had my phone ready to record, pen and paper ready to take notes. 3:33 a.m. The phone rang. I let it ring once, twice, took a breath, pressed record on my phone. Picked up. This is David Bedazanov, 8 minutes anaphylaxis, penicillin allergy not in chart. Wait, I said quickly. Don't hang up. I need to know who you are. Silence. But he was still there. I could hear that breathing. Who are you? I repeated, someone who sees the list. What list? The same list they all see. Eventually, some of us just see it sooner than others. I don't understand. You will bet there's another 7 minutes now. Are you? I hesitated. This was insane. But I asked anyway. Are you calling from room 444? Allons pause? Then I died in room 444, September 17th, 2018, 3:34 a.m. Massive stroke, but I didn't leave. Because someone has to make the calls, Raymond Cole, I whispered. The third patient from the reports. I answered the phone. The voice continued. The night I died. At 3:32 a.m., a man called me, told me I had 2 minutes, told me it was my time. I thought it was a joke. Then I felt something pop in my head, and everything went dark. But you're dead. I died, but I stayed. Someone has to warn them, David. Someone has to make the calls. That's the job. Dr. Manning understood. That's why he tried to close the room. He knew what it was. What is it? A thin place where the list is visible, where you can see who's next. 3 deaths in room 444. In 3 weeks, we were all called before we died. We all heard the warnings, and we all ignored them. Why are you calling me? Because you listen, and because your name appeared on the list, my stomach dropped. What? Not tonight? Not tomorrow? But soon. I'm trying to warn you. Just like someone tried to warn me when my voice cracked. When is it going to happen? I can't see that part clearly. The list doesn't work like that. But I can see the others around you. I can help you save them. Maybe if you save enough, you'll change your own outcome. That's what I'm hoping. Wait, bed 19. 4 minutes. She's allergic to penicillin. Someone wrote it in her paper chart 6 months ago, but it was never entered in the computer. She's crashing soon. The line went dead. I ran to bed 19. Emily Rodriguez, 32 years old, pneumonia. We'd started her on for penicillin 2 hours ago. I pulled up her chart. No drug allergies listed. But when I checked the paper records the old physical charts, we barely use any more there. It was 6 months ago, during a previous visit, someone had handwritten PCN, allergy in red ink. It was never transferred to the electronic system. I stopped the penicillin immediately, called pharmacy for an alternative antibiotic. 3 minutes later, Emily started itching. Then her throat started swelling. Early anaphylaxis, the beginning stages. If I hadn't stopped the penicillin, if she'd gotten another full hour of infusion, she would have died. But we caught it. Because a dead man called me from a demolished room. I went back to the conference room and pulled out those incident reports again, read them more carefully. Thomas Brennan, Diana Foster, Raymond Cole, 3 deaths in room 444. But there was a pattern I'd missed before. Each death happened exactly 1 week after the previous one. September 3rd, September 10th, September 17th. Andish Chimi, the patient, died around 3:34 a.m. after receiving a call at 3:32 or 3:33 a.m. Dr. Robert Manning died on September 24th, exactly 1 week after Raymond Cole. The pattern hadn't stopped with the patients in room 444. It had continued. I pulled up Dr. Manning's death certificate. I had to call in a favor with a friend in administration to access it. Time of death, 3:41 a.m., September 24th, 2018. Cause sudden cardiac arrest. No prior history of heart disease. He was found in his office, slumped over his desk. Next to him was a phone off the hook. Someone had called him at 3:33 a.m., and he'd answered. The calls keep coming. Every night, same time, different patients. I've saved 11 people in 3 weeks. 11 patients who would have died if the voice hadn't warned me. But here's what terrifies me. I pulled the old schedules from September 2018. The night shift nurse who worked room 444. The night Thomas Brennan died, Christine Part, she died in a car accident. 2 weeks after Thomas, the nurse who was there when Diana Foster died, Marcus Wright, massive heart attack. 3 weeks after Diana. The pattern isn't just patients. It's everyone connected to room 444. They tried to destroy the room. But extension 444 still exists, still calls because some rooms don't need physical walls. They exist in the space between life and death. And once you answer the phone, you're connected to it forever. Raymond Cole answered the phone the night he died. Now he's the one making the calls, warning people, trying to save them. But what happens when he saves enough? Does he get to leave? Or is he trapped there forever in that demolished room, reading from that list? And if my name is on the list, how much time do I have? Subscribe, because the next part gets even darker, because I did something stupid. I tried to call extension 440 for myself. And someone answered, comment, would you try to call a dead man back? Or would you just ignore the phone and hope it stops ringing? Like this video if you're starting to understand why some hospital rooms stay empty, because I found out what happens when you look at the list yourself. And what I saw changed everything. 3 nights ago, I figured it out. I was looking at the list, I could see it whenever I want now. Just by closing my eyes on, I noticed something I'd missed before. Everyone who S-trapped in room 444 has one thing in common. They all tried to save people. Raymond Cole answered the phone when he was dying, heard the warning, and spent his last conscious moments trying to alert the nurses. When he died, he stayed. Kept making calls, kept warning people. Dr. Manning saw the list and spent his remaining weeks frantically trying to save his staff, trying to prevent the deaths he could see coming. When his time came, he stayed too. Kept trying to save people even after death. The curse isn't just seeing death, it's trying to prevent it. The list doesn't trap people who look at it, it traps people who try to change it. And I've spent 3 weeks doing exactly that, saving 41 people, changing 41 outcomes, which means I'm already halfway to being trapped forever. I've been living like this for 3 weeks now, seeing the list, seeing death dates on everyone I meet. I've saved 41 people, 41 entries that flickered and disappeared when I changed their outcomes. But I also watched 3 people die right on schedule because I couldn't get there in time, couldn't change their paths. Their entries stayed in the list until the exact moment they died. Then they just faded. Every night at 3:33 a.m., Raymond calls, gives me warnings, helps me save the ones I can save. Sometimes I hear other voices in the background. Dr. Manning, the nurses who died, all of them calling their own warnings to people who can't hear them, trying to change outcomes they can see but can't prevent. All of them trapped in room 444. Forever. And soon, when my blurred date becomes clear, I'll join them. Unless I can find the way out that Raymond hinted at. My entry in the list is getting clearer. I can almost read the date now. It's soon. Maybe days. Maybe hours. But I think I know the way out. I have to let someone die. Not intervene. Not try to change it. Just let fate take its course. The list traps people who fight death. Maybe it releases people who accept it. Subscribe for the final part, because I'm about to do something that goes against every instinct I have as a nurse, something Raymond Cole couldn't do, something Dr. Manning wouldn't do, something that might save me ... or trap me in room 444 forever. Comment below. If you could see when everyone around you would die, would you try to save them all? Or would you look away and try to save yourself? Like this video, if you're starting to understand why some knowledge is too dangerous to have, because the final part is where everything changes, where I make my choice, and where I find out what's really waiting in room 444. I tested the theory 2 nights ago. The phone rang at 3:33 a.m. Raymond's usual call. Bed 8. 4 minutes. Septic shock. I looked at bed 8. Marcus Wright, 63 years old, pneumonia patient. I could see his entry, Marcus Wright, November 23rd, 2024, 3:42, septic shock. Tonight, right on schedule. I'm not going to save him, I said into the phone. Silence. Then, what? You said the only way out is to stop trying to change the list. So I'm gonna let this one happen. Let fate take its course. Maybe that's how I get free. David, no, that's not. You said you couldn't save yourself because you kept trying to save everyone else. Well, I'm stopping right now, I hung up. I watched bed 8 from the nurse's station, watched the clock, 3:38 a.m., 3:39 a.m., 3:40 a.m. At 3:41 a.m., Marcuse's blood pressure started dropping. Monitor alarms going off. I didn't move. Lisa ran to his room, started calling for help, started the sepsis protocol. I just sat there, watching, letting it happen. At 3:42 a.m., Marcus crashed. They worked him for 20 minutes. He died at 4:02 a.m., just like the list said. And when I closed my eyes to check my own entry, the date was perfectly clear now. David Chen, nurse, November 24th, 2024. 13:33, a method unclear tonight. My death was tonight. Letting someone die didn't free me. It locked in my date. I tried calling extension 444. No answer. Just endless ringing. Raymond wasn't calling anymore. Neither was anyone else. I'd broken the rules. Let someone die on purpose. And now I was on my own. At 3 a.m., I left the ER, told them I was sick, went home. If my death was scheduled for 3:33 a.m. at the hospital, maybe I could avoid it by not being there. I sat in my apartment, watching the clock, 3:15 a.m., 3:20 a.m., 3:25 a.m. At 3:30 a.m., my phone rang. Not the hospital phone. My personal cell, unknown number. I answered. David, Raymond's voice, but different, colder. You can't run from the list. I'm not at the hospital. I changed the location. The list doesn't care about location. It cares about time. And your time is now. I'm not dying tonight. You let Marcus die? You chose not to save him? That's not how this works. We don't let people die, David. We try to save them. Even when we fail, we try. That's what keeps us human. That's what makes the difference between being trapped and being damned. I don't understand. The list traps people who try to save everyone, but it damns people who choose to let someone die. There's a difference between failing to save someone and choosing not to try. You chose, and now you pay the price. My apartment went cold, like all the heat had been sucked out of the air. What's happening? Your entry is clearing. Can you see it now? I closed my eyes, looked at the list. David Chen, nurse, November 24th, 2024, 13:33 a.m. room 444. No, I whispered. You're being collected, just like Thomas Brennan? Just like Diana Foster? Just like me? When your time comes and you're connected to room 444, it takes you there, even if the room doesn't exist anymore. Especially then. Please, I didn't understand. I'll save everyone. It's too late. The list doesn't forgive. It doesn't negotiate. I tried to warn you. I tried to help you. But you had to learn the hard way. The room was getting darker. Like shadows were closing in. Raymond, please? I'm sorry, David. I'll see you on the other side. And then you'll understand. You'll see the list. You'll make the calls. You'll try to save people you'll never meet. Just like me. Just like all of us. The line went dead. 3:33 a.m. The shadows consumed everything. When I woke up, I was in room 444. Except it wasn't a room anymore. It was a space. Dark. Endless. Full of voices. Dr. Manning was there. The nurses who died. Thomas Brennan. Diana Foster. Raymond Cole. All of them making calls, warning people, reading from the list. And in front of me was the book. The list's leather-bound, ancient. Welcome, Raymond said. He looked different here. Translucent, faded. Now you understand. I opened the book, saw thousands of names, including my own, at the bottom. David Chen, nurse, November 24th, 2024. 33 room, 444, permanent. How long do I stay here? Forever, Raymond said. Or until someone finds the real way out. We're all still looking. What is the real way out? I don't know. But it's not saving everyone, and it's not letting people die. It's something else. Something none of us figured out in time. A phone appeared in front of me. Old. Rotary dial. Your shift starts now, Raymond said. Extension 444. Someone needs a warning. Bed 12. 5 minutes. Cardiac arrest. I picked up the phone. Dialed. Someone answered. Mount Sinai. This is Jennifer Bedozzi. I heard myself say 5 minutes. Cardiac arrest? You won't see it coming. I hung up. And I've been here ever since. Making calls. Warning people. Trying to save lives I'll never see. Trapped in room 444. Forever. If you're watching this, if you're hearing this story, learn from my mistake. If someone calls you with impossible information, listen, but don't look for the list. Don't try to understand the mechanism. Don't try to cheat death by letting someone die. Just do your job. Save who you can, except that you can't save everyone. And whatever you do, don't answer calls from extension 444, because once you're connected to that number, you're connected forever. Subscribe if you want more stories from the other side, because I have all the time in the world now. Comment if you've ever received a warning you couldn't explain. Like if you'll never look at hospital phone calls the same way again. And remember, some rooms don't need walls. They exist wherever death makes its appointments. Room 444 is everywhere and nowhere. And I'm still making calls. Still trying to save you. Still hoping someone figures out what we couldn't. The real way out of room 444? This is David Chen, extension 444. If I call you at 3:33 a.m., please listen.